somebody feels like they've fallen back in love with you. There was a big spark when you first met each other. I mean, the chemistry, the connection was undeniable. Okay. This connection formed so out of nowhere. I feel that for most of you, you met online. There was a sense of somebody just sending a message to another, saying, hey, and the conversation just flowing from there. There really wasn't this sense of, where have we met before? Who are you? It was an instant conversation. This developed more and more throughout the days. And then there was a sudden pause. It was like a slip. Just when things were getting really, really good, when you guys were being like, man, I'm glad you reached out to me. I'm glad you talked to me. I enjoy our conversations. I feel like this can develop into something more. There was almost it was a part of divine intervention, but also impulse that made it to where both of you went on a pause. One of you said something that rubbed a little bit the wrong way, and it triggered a trauma response. No matter who we're with, friends, family, romantic people, etc., there's going to be moments of confrontation, and those are actually the times you see who you're going to be able to prevail with. This person and you, the connection, how fast it went from we're connecting, we're vibing, to somebody saying something that was out of pocket. Like, why did you have to say that? It feels like it ruined everything that was going on. I think both of you felt that way. You see, you thought you said something that fucked everything up, and they felt that they reacted in a way that messed everything up. Neither of you were ever like pointing a finger at another. There just became this space of it no longer feels right to text. It no longer feels right to call. It no longer feels right to see each other. But it was an unspoken thing. I see that some time went by and impulse could have gotten the best of you, where you could have tried to rush this meeting of each other, meeting halfway, rush the relationship because you saw the potential of it, and that fear of losing them, because anytime confrontation arised in past relationships, you would receive, like either a form of the silent treatment or just an instant separation or being gaslit. So I feel that you went above and beyond, and it actually backfired. You thought that this dynamic, by fighting and fighting and fighting and not giving up, would show the care you have, but it was an attachment style you didn't realize. And this person saw this. They saw you had an anxious attachment style at that point. And I see that that is something for them that they must have just gone out of a relationship where their ex had a deep sense of unfaithfulness and attachment issues, is what I'm hearing. So they were attached, they were jealous of your person, but they were out still fornicating, being unfaithful. It was the last relationship they were in before you was super toxic. Defenses go up once you start feeling the guard go down. They didn't want to see this through because they felt like they decided it's not worth it. It's not worth getting my heart hurt again. I'm already falling in love with this person. Your connection was fast, and then you feel like it was ripped right out of your hands. They're like a fly on the wall to you right now. They're watching you from afar. And they don't feel like they're ready to reach out yet, but there's something that's kicking up the pace. You have about 2 months, okay? You have about 2 months of this person going back and forth from figuring out, are they actually going to be able to face their fears and their ego and bring clarity back to you. The thing is they were falling in love with you. I don't see that you two ever, for most of you here at least, never got to that point of being able to even say those words to each other. It was far too soon. But it was so felt. There was an undeniable force. There was somebody else that also they tried, I look and I see that they went back to an old relationship and tried to see if they could make something work again. That was another thing. There was so many outside forces that were keeping this from being able to proceed forward. But for a very long time, you took all the blame. I see that this person realized the next step with that connection. They've spoken their words to each other. There is nothing left for them to want to go back to with that. That is a connection, a person they were destined to meet, destined to experience what they did with, but were not destined to stay with them. And during your time of separation, there have been things you've actually been able to focus on and reflect. You look back at these times and you reflect. You don't belittle yourself anymore. What do they think when they see you, if they're watching you right now? Every time they look at you, they receive two forms of, number one, a deep attraction and intensity and pull, but also, I'm not strong enough. This person's words, their actions, their behaviors, it feels like this person looks back at your old, this is where they're talking about. They look back at your old messages and see how much you didn't give up and how far you were willing to put your ego aside for them. And they're like, I don't deserve them to do that again without a provence. But that's the thing where the KO keeps coming in. Okay? You are correct that you're picking up on this person's energy. You are correct that they are watching you. But just because of that does not mean, it does not mean to reach out to them, and it does not mean that they're very comfortable where they're at right now. They're comfortable watching you from afar. They're comfortable with being a fly on the wall. But understand, whenever you're honoring your truth, that does not mean you will not make mistakes. There have been times your presentation overspoke your words, but it was out of passion. It was out of trust for your own guides. It was out of trust of knowing, I don't know if I don't try. And that's why you feel a different piece with this than they do. Because you tried. And you did get to that line of where it was like, all right, you got to let this go. It's time to move forward. But that person never, ever tried to even get to that point of that shot with you. So you're able to go forward because you did everything you could. But they still have wonderance. Maybe if I would have just allowed this to go a little bit farther. Maybe if I would have just opened my heart a little bit more. Maybe if I would have just communicated a little bit more. So they're constantly like building a tower and then dropping it. Building a tower and dropping it, while as you continue to let your structure build. You're not putting it up and then tearing it down again. At this current moment, there is not a place for them in your life. With that being said, what I mean that there's not a place of this person in your life is even if you feel that you could fit them in. You have a lot of responsibilities you are still migrating through. And putting another person in your life would be okay, I see. Because I feel this internal conflict when we're talking about this part. This is how they feel. They're so busy. They have so much going on. I don't know if they're even with another person now. I don't want to get in their way or start another cycle. I don't want to open this door with this person just to close it on them again. And the best thing you can do is allow yourself to separate that feeling of their tower moments. You can feel when they're watching you. You can sometimes even have this random rage of emotion or confusion when you just were simply at peace in your home, in your room. And then you start thinking of them, you see them, and then like you see them in your visions, you see their name, a song comes up, etc. And then you feel angry or confused. Well, this person and you have a soul tie, okay? And a soul tie, it's not just one person we have a soul tie with. We have quite a few. But it's a whole different intensity. It's even higher than a soulmate. And your soul ties are always going to have some form of like this connection too. Especially when you're both picking up on each other's frequencies. It's like a pinging sensation. Both of your ears start ringing when you're thinking about each other at the same time. But what Spirit is saying is, the future shows this is something that can flourish. The future shows that if this person can stand up to their fears, and mostly their ego, and not like stand up to the ego meaning saying they were wrong and trying to beg to come back in your life, none of that bullshit. The ego's telling them that pride has to, that you've made a decision that this person shouldn't be with you, you've moved on, and you just got to stick to that. Every situation, there's balance. There are a lot of things where you cannot look back. You make the decision, you move forward in confidence. But human beings are different. Okay, our emotions, they can rewire a complete view of what's really going on. They can take a simple gesture as something that was actually supposed to be a compliment and turn it into thinking there was an insult. So when it comes to regulating who is and who isn't to be in your life, it looks like there's too much pressure for you to feel like you're just supposed to know that as well. Like even on just a personal note, nothing to do with this individual, you are very hard on like constantly looking for red flags in a person. You're constantly, as soon as you get close to somebody, you're like, okay, we're close. Now I'm going to look for a red flag. So the second I see it, I can pinpoint up, yep, fear, anxiety, ego, you're right. There's a slip up. There's the person being who they really are. And then you ditch. That's exhausting. It is exhausting to constantly be looking for red flags in people. Because if there's red flags, they're just going to show. And you have to remember, because of your trauma, yes, you're hyper-focused on finding those red flags. But nobody's perfect. Every human being is going to have some form of a beige flag, some form of a green flag, some form of a red flag, some form of a yellow flag, because we're humans. So it's not about acting perfect. It's about embracing who you are. And you should allow yourself to allow individuals into your life who embrace who they are and embrace you being vocal. Embrace you taking up space. Embrace your values. You should not be allowing yourself to just agree to disagree with people anymore. Because that time, that passiveness of life, for the most part, has came to a conclusion. We cannot let our presentation overspeak our words. But you are not perfect. And you have gotten a lot of people in your life that saw you as this punching bag. So your fire, your oomph, it does not come from a place of vain. It comes from a place of protection of yourself and others. You see yourself in every little guy, in the little guys, or whatever. You see yourself in every strong individual. You don't see only fear. You can see when force has to be necessary. And I think that this is something that this person finds very attractive. When they first met you, when they first knew you, they took you as being too passive, actually. And it looks like there has been a lot of assumptions by watching you recently that have already been broken. Long story short, Spirit's saying there's a possibility of this in the future. You guys being able to work together. You guys being able to maybe even form a deeper romantic bond, but there's still certain things that have to come in place. And this is not you waiting. This is not you thinking that there's nothing for you to do. During this time, you still have plenty of other things to focus on. You have other relationships to figure out. Whether that's romantic, platonic, family, work, professional, personal, whatever. Everybody here, no matter how that resonates for you, has plenty of other things that they are to focus on. Understand you will pick up on this person's energy. Understand, yes, they are watching you. But avoid trying to entertain that energy. Avoid trying to feel like you have to meet halfway at all right now is what they want me to state. You waited for a long time. You were halfway for a long time and you had to get on that train. You had to go forward. And now this person is basically on the next train, catching up with you. But they still have destinations. All you need to do is just swing through life trusting the confidence in your decisions. And remember, as things continue to grow, there will be people who fade away. And in this life, truly, when you decide, I'm not going to fight the changes, I'm going to go with the waves, that's how you keep inner peace. That's how you don't allow yourself to get upset and frustrated. You're a very good person. And I want you to remember that. Person. You're a human. And part of the human experience and the part we evolve is by failing at some points. And failure does not mean defeat and failure. Failure is literally how you win. Okay, I learned. And I upgraded. I feel that you really look at this entire situation differently with this person now. So, resist that short-term, resist the short-term temptations to try to meet them halfway, aka meaning, well, if they're already looking at me and etc., maybe I should just send them a message. Maybe I should just, hey, what's up? Maybe I should just send them a friend request, etc. However it resonates for you. Don't do that. Okay, there's a balance right now. And this is good. This is flowing. But if you were to try to make even one step to them, it would become unbalanced. Focus on what you have control of and let everything else shine to you about the care. That's what I got for y'all today. These cards I used today in our reading are the Boxer's Oracle. These are my personal cards, the first Oracle deck I have ever created. I currently do have these in stock on my personal website, which is offprintmint.com. The way you can get to my personal website is it's linked in all of my social media platforms. Right when you get on the website, that homepage, you'll see a button that pops up that says, click here to get your Oracle deck. And it will take you step by step from there. I do also add a few little special gifts in there for you guys. And a personalized note thanking you. Handwritten from yours truly for all of your support on going ahead and purchasing the Boxer's Oracle. That is what I got for y'all today. And I'll see you when I see you. Let's get it.